Howdy folks! How are y'all doing? My name is Reese, and welcome back to the Minecraft 2025 Let's Play Adventure, where today we're at the sand contraption and it is churning away. And you might notice the room looks a little bit different than it did before. I started hollowing out the room because I want to create a gigantic space that is completely lined with blocks of quartz, because I think it looks kind of cool, and it would be like this interesting mix of almost like a sci-fi look. You know how sci-fi always has those solid white rooms where they're doing questionable experiments and expanding human knowledge and also doing cursed things, but then also kind of mixed with the more sort of Minecrafty roots of having a portal just floating in the middle of the room, right? Not super sci-fi. Well, no, actually, portals are pretty sci-fi. I take it back. So I got to get more quartz. I didn't bring any more back with me. This is just all we had with us when we came over here in yesterday's video, but we need to extend the room out that way too, and I kept poking my way into different caverns. That's the big cavern. We've been there before. Got a tiny little squeeze way through there, and then we got actually a lake over there where squids keep spawning and dying, and I just get the glow ink sacks. Pretty convenient, but it's all going to be closed off. But we are getting ready to turn the machine off, and I realized that if we turn it off there, when we turn it back on, it'll run fine. But I've actually gone back and forth a couple of times, and we've got a pretty decent supply of sand going. And yes, you can hop in from the bottom, and you will spawn in here. And I was expecting this to be about halfway full, and that's about how much we've got. So I'm going to move some of it into the clutter crate here. I have had this thing running before, up until the moment it filled up, and then started backing into the hoppers. There's some kind of way that... Oh, no! Whoa, buddy. All right, listen. That was almost very unnerving. Let's not have that be a thing there like that. Goodness me. Goodness gracious me. That I felt everything on my inside start to liquefy at that point. But I think we can set this thing up such that somehow you can have hoppers underneath those hoppers also going into chests, and when the top chest fills up, maybe it's just a basic Minecraft mechanic that I've never come into contact with before. That's probably the case. But it'll just overflow into the hoppers beneath it and the hoppers beneath that, and then I could just leave this thing running for many long hours on end, and that would be swell. But the way that we're going to get most of this back is that, like I said before, I had it running, and rather than hauling everything back and forth, I just moved it over to this chest and stocked it up inside of there, and I said, all right, when I have enough to go back again with 2 full chests, that's when we'll go ahead and call it. And, you know, we have that much. We have that much right now. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave some here because my inventory is now full. But there is another full double chest back home. I did haul back 1 full double chest. And it's actually waiting for us on Deadble Island. I sort of went through the effort of... I mean, I say sort of. No, I absolutely did go through the effort. And I say it like it was a great struggle. I placed down 2 chests and filled them with sand. And they're waiting for us back on the island. And if I'd thought about it beforehand, what I could have done was I could have reset my spawn back at the house, and then at the start of today's video, did all of that, and then just been home. But I didn't think about it at the time, and I didn't do that, and that's not the case. We need to add some more portals up here at some point. We need to build the portal to go to the swamp shack, and we need to build the portal to go to the ice house. Or it's an ice house. I think I called it the snow cabin when I added it to the map in a previous video. But it's not a snow cabin. Yeah, it's an ice house. That's what we call it. And then the swamp shack. And then the witch's hut, which is not to be confused with the swamp shack, which is currently not a shack, but in fact actually just a platform. Very quickly, folks, we're going to try to land right here. This has been bothering me, and we're going to go ahead and fix it, because this is where a creeper blew up, kind of, might have been between episodes, I guess, but there you go. Got that situation dealt with. And remember, we dug up some sand here in the last video. Something weird's going on with the cross over there, by the way. I don't know if you folks have noticed in the last couple of videos, but during certain times of the day, the cross pieces look like they're a different color. They almost look like stripped wood, and they're not. I think it's just a weird quirk of Distant Horizons. I kind of like it. It makes it look like two different materials, which it's not and is not going to be. Like, obviously, if I really liked it, I could switch it around like that. I could just go over there and shave off some of those logs. But I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it as is. I do like the two-tone, though. It is good look, even though it is fake. Okay, well, now I'm going to do this for the next hour of my life, I guess. Well, I need to go check iron at some point. That's going to get filled. I'm going to start with this side here. I still haven't found the other two missing allays, but I'm not worried about it. Like I said before, we've had allays gone missing and had them show up, you know, moments later. Not moments later, months later. With the other two. I'm going to go ahead and say that the two that are missing are the new ones, and these two are the OGs. Impossible for us to know that. No way to tell them apart. Probably should have given them names. Didn't think about it at the time. By the way, in case you've forgotten what the goal is here, we are going to take down all of this dirt, and we're going to move it all up one level. So actually, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and dig this dirt up down here. And then we will be not putting dirt on top of this dirt. We will be digging up this dirt and putting sand down, and then moving this dirt up a level, and then we have to go get more dirt, and it's going to be like a whole ordeal. But you won't have to watch much of it, because watch this. This is a cool trick I call. Well, I mean, I don't call it anything. What it is it's a clock wipe. All right, folks. Well, maybe we're not cutting in as far along as I'd like. I basically decided to start down here. I mean, I did a little bit down here. I was trying to square things off so I could fill it in segments, and then I just ended up here. I just discovered something. They can't get up here. Folks, we don't need to build the whole island up one like we've done over there. It's not necessary. We just have to make sure there's not a block under here, like right there, that they can use to get up here. We're perfectly safe. That's it. Yeah, that's... So I guess that... Wait a minute. Oh. Oh, does that mean that I need to stop putting sand all the way up to the top? And start doing dirt instead? I have to break all this sand, the surface layer sand, and replace it with dirt now? Yeah, I suppose probably so. Well, let's just verify real quick, right? Like, we'll break that. And then we'll put down some sand here. Yeah, I mean, that's dirt, first off. But I mean, technically, it's grass. Yeah, they can't figure it out. They can't get to me. The island might look a bit funny, though, if it's all flat. So what we might end up doing is on the outsides have grass. And then maybe for a couple layers, and then have it go up an additional bump in the middle. So it looks a bit more natural. Bye, guys. And that goes to all of you folks as well. I'll see you when we're done. Well, we're out of sand. And unfortunately, we're not finished yet. Did we actually use it all? We did. We used 2 full crates worth. Crates? The chest is what I meant. We did get this side of the island finished. And we're not that far off here. This one's like a layer and a bit. This one's a bit more. We're going to be able to recollect some of the sand, you know, along the edges here. Now that we've decided we're not going to do it 2 layers up, we're going to be able to collect some of this. But it's going to need to, it's not going to make a difference. Let's be honest. If we're collecting these bits of dirt here, and we're moving them over here to the shoreline... Goodness me, I gotta really carefully feather this, too. The idea is that that'll be grass in a couple of layers, and then behind that will be grass like that, right? Like, that's the general idea. So that the island is up 1, maybe even we do that twice. And look at that, that netted us a whole 10 extra blocks. Not even enough to complete this segment here. And don't forget that we now have to go back in with the hole we just dug out and fill that with sand. And in fact, there's dirt under there. Which, I tell you what, I'm probably going to end up collecting this dirt down here. Right? Because dirt's not an infinite resource. Where are we going to find more dirt? So now we got to fill all this in with sand, too. How far down does this dirt go? Oh, not very far. Now, many of you might be wondering, Reese, why didn't you just do all of this hollow? Why didn't you just do all of this as a big hollow, empty island? You could have put something cool in the middle. You would have saved on a lot of sand. And you're right. And look, the primary reason is I didn't think about it until just now. But also, ignoring that, I don't think I would have done it anyway, because I would rather have a solid island that I can kind of dig into in the future if there's things I want to make in the future. So, for right now, we definitely made the right call by filling it in with sand, and if we have to go back and sort of re-excavate it in the future, so be it, that's fine. I guess I have to go collect more sand now, though, so I suppose I'll take these with me and be on my way. I thought about calling the episode there, because I have been recording for over an hour, but how long has the episode been at this point? 15 minutes, maybe? Maybe not even that long? I mean, you'll know when you look at the, the timeline. So... I doubt if it's even been that long, honestly. We're gonna finish the island. Okay, that's what we're gonna do today. Maybe not 100%, but we are at least going to get all the sand filled in. Maybe next episode we do the dirt and plant the trees and talk about what my other plans were. But I know that if you wait about 20 to 25 minutes, it fully fills in that chest in the end. So, I think there's a bit of sand left in there as well, but we're going to need more. I'm going to set the timer, and 25 minutes, I'm going to pause the recording. I'll be back. Alright, it's been just about 25 minutes, and I just received an invitation to go out and eat, so I'm going to go do that. But let's see, I've got a little bit of time before I have to leave. I actually got dressed while I was letting the machine run. Oh, yeah. Okay, so not even a full 25 minutes is necessary. Let's go ahead and place these objects down. Objects. We're going to place down the clutter crate and the loot crate. Sorry. Loot box. My mistake. We now have a new ending point, which is today's episode ends as soon as I have to leave. Cool. All right. Plenty to go. We got some left over. Let's grab what is left in this chest here. I knew we had some left over, and we're good to go. Let's get out of here. Yeah, I did accidentally just look at this guy, which I definitely didn't mean to do. Oh my gosh, he almost killed me. That's full enchanted it's not full enchanted netherite. I finally got the correct helmet on. I've been running around with a Hellfire helm on for, well, heaven only knows how long, which there's some irony in that. Hellfire helm, heaven only knows. I should have reset my spawn point. I keep thinking that every time I come here, and I never do it. Oh well. Let's have a nap, because that will reset my spawn, and will also prevent more sky demons from spawning, because those guys have been annoying. Look, we got these two small pools. Are all that's left. And I guess we will go ahead and we definitely have the materials for it. So we'll backfill the rest of this. We're gonna go ahead and fill this back in because we have enough materials for it and it needs to be done. Okay, there's that one down. I guess while I do this, I'll once again address a question that some of you might have. To be fair, no one's asked this yet, but, just to get out ahead of it. Why will I use a duplication glitch? Isn't that the same as just spawning things in? And my answer to that is no. I don't view it the same as spawning things in with commands or using creative mode because it requires you to do some kind of work in order to get the desired effect. So it is not the same as just, logging in creative, grabbing stacks and stacks and stacks of sand. I don't think that there's anything wrong with playing the game like that, especially if you just want to build cool things. By all means, go into creative. It's your life. Your time is limited, time is precious, you're not going to get it back. I will never begrudge someone who chooses to do that. But I wanted to do this series legit, no creative mode, no spawning things in. But I have no issue with dupes because, from my perspective, they require... First off, they're game mechanics, right? And you might disagree with that. They're certainly not intended mechanics, but they do require you to use mechanics in the game, which we are. And they require you to build something. So in this case, we've built this whole contraption. And they require work on your part, and you have to be in the game, and it requires time to pass. And so for all of these reasons, I view it as being different than just spawning things in. And while I, again, have nothing wrong with people just spawning things in, we decided that's not how we wanted to do this series. So I don't want to do that. But having a system where you take advantage of the game's mechanics, intentional or not, and you build a machine to take advantage of those mechanics, I have no issue with that. That feels perfectly fair and reasonable to me. It's no different, as far as I'm concerned, than the iron farm. The Iron Farm is taking advantage of the game's mechanics, the spawn mechanics of iron golems, the mechanics of flowing water, of lava, hoppers, and all of that, and you're just taking advantage of those mechanics to kind of get a desired outcome. It's no different than capturing the villagers and curing them to reduce the costs of their goods and supplies. As far as I'm concerned, these are all the same thing. Now, if something gets patched, fair enough, right? Clearly, even though we are taking advantage of the game's mechanics to spawn in the sand, these are not intentional mechanics per se. That's why they've spawned out the ability to break the portal with a mushroom in the latest version, apparently, based on comments that I read in the comments section of the video guide we used in the last episode. Apparently, that's been patched out. It was not an intended mechanic. They got rid of it. Fair. I'm going to use it right now because as far as I'm concerned, in this version, it's a mechanic that's there and I'm going to use it. There's a TNT duping glitch that requires you to build a machine to dupe TNT. If it still works in 121.5, we'll build it and we'll use it. I don't mind because, again, it's taking advantage of the mechanics. As far as I'm concerned, that's the difference between cheating, right, and exploiting. And again, using creative mode is also a mechanic in the game. It's not cheating. It's just about how you want to play. I don't want to spawn things in, but I'm perfectly happy to use mechanics that are available to me in survival. I guess that would be the better way of describing it. Because going into creative is a mechanic in the game. Why don't I just do that? Well, I want to stay in survival. I want to survive. And that's why, you know, all these contraptions that we build them legit. You know, we do everything practically in survival. I built the creep rag out of materials that I farmed legitimately in the game. We get all of our levels from monsters that we fight in these really elaborate sort of spawn traps. They're not that elaborate, let's be fair. They're pretty basic and have existed for almost as long as Minecraft has, with just a few refinements here and there. But they are definitely not what was intended. You know, when Notch made the game, he didn't intend for spawners to be used to farm XP, which didn't exist at the time. I remember when mobs didn't drop XP long ago. But, you know, mechanics are all there to make it happen. It's an unintentional consequence of the mechanics, I guess. But we want to only use survival mechanics. That's how we want to do this series. And in doing so, you know, we can do whatever we want utilizing those mechanics, as far as I'm concerned. If you want to play differently, maybe you see it differently. Maybe you really don't think that we ought to be doing that, and in your survival world, you say, you know what, I'm not going to abuse unintentional mechanics. That's fine. But you know what, the spawning of the Iron Golem is just as unintentional as the sand spawning, as far as I'm concerned. I view those in the exact same plane, and I view them exactly the same as, you know, creating mob spawning farms out. This bothers me. I'm going to fix it real quick. I don't like how just sharp this edge is. Bring that in, and this one too. Now, that might actually be worse. I might hate that more. I view all of these things as the same. If you're taking advantage of an in-game mechanic in a way that was not necessarily strictly intended, I view all of the different methods of doing that as being identical. So, taking advantage of the way Iron Golems spawn, to me, is the same as using the duplication glitch, okay? Because, I mean, you can call it a glitch, but is it a glitch when that's the way the game is programmed? It's unintended. You know, I view a glitch as being something that crashes the game, whereas the mechanism we use to duplicate sand and, you know, the dragon eggs and all of that is less so a glitch and more so an unintended consequence of the way the game was made. Again, though, that's just my own personal kind of morals on the subject. You're free to disagree if you want. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback in the comments section. I know for many people, switching into creative when you want to build something really big or complicated is perfectly normal. And you know what? We did design the house in creative. We made a copy of the world, essentially built the whole thing, and then just took screenshots, came back into survival, and sent it. The dirt goes deep here. The dirt goes quite deep. Oh no! Look what I've done again. Look what I've let happen. It's okay, we've avoided disaster so far. Haven't had a creeper drop in on my head. Yet! Need to include that word there. Very important, pivotal key word there. The word being yet. Could happen at any minute. Make sure it doesn't. Yeah, good job, Alays. Keep him at bay. I gotta decide how far down I'm willing to go to collect all this dirt, right? Because there's like multiple tiers of it down here, and, you know, any amount of it is useful. What was his deal? Okay, the dirt goes down that far. That's how many layers of dirt we can extract from here, and we need them, right? When you think about it. We need this dirt, because we gotta cover the whole island in dirt. Okay, I'm thinking maybe we go ahead and extract all of this dirt. I just know that I'm going to hit, like, a deadline here in a second. The only issue with this is, like, geez, talk about building your house on foundations of sand. Oh, but we're not building a house over here. It's just an island. It's fine. And we're gonna plant trees, and they'll grow in, and the roots will kind of hold all the sand together and keep it from, you know, going out to sea. And also it's Minecraft, and none of those mechanics really exist anyway, so we don't have to worry about it. Minecraft's one of the few games, you know, few situations in life where you can actually build your house on a foundation of sand, and provided no one digs out from under you, you'll be fine. And even if they do, if your house isn't made out of sand, it'll just stay floating in the air. On to our second chest now. We would have been done, but I decided to extract dirt. Ugh. It's done. Oh, now I get the joy of taking down part of the sand and replacing it with dirt. So this is what it's gonna look like here. With the grass. This is so... oh, boy. Oh, buddy. That is an abrupt drop-off. And that is okay. I think that as we go towards the middle, it might need to go up even a couple of more blocks, right? So you have this immediate sort of step up here from the water, which makes sense, you know, erosion and all that. But then the further up you go, the higher up it goes. Oh, and I have to go. It is now the time for me to leave. And thank you folks for watching. God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll continue this exercise. Bye!